Elite Champions DFS Week 5 Thursday Night Football. This is for beginners and it's for all you other guys as well. This is going to be a sleeper video for Thursday night's game, Seattle and Los Angeles Rams. These are some pretty good sleepers. Everybody knows, for the most part, who your good players are going to be, and that's just kind of how it is. So let's just check some sleepers out. Now let's go to Alex Collins for Seattle, running back. Carson's not 100%. Last game, Collins had 12 touches, 44 yards, a touchdown, got 2 catches for 32. FanDuel points, 14.8, a little bit more on DraftKings. And then the weeks before that, 2 carries, 8 yards, 1 carry, 25 yards, nothing. Collins could have a really good game, and as you know, he's a sleeper, which means that he could come in and do almost nothing, or he could actually come in and have a game like he did last week. And it matters on Thursday night games because him coming in and scoring, 15 plus points will probably put him in the best 5 or the top 6 players, and that's a big deal. So he is definitely one of my sleepers. The next sleeper I have is Higbee. Higbee hasn't done a lot. He does have an ankle injury. He's okay. He's played all 4 games, and his best game came against Tampa Bay. 5 targets, 5 catches, 40 yards, a touchdown, but a fumble. So he's been pretty quiet. This is the kind of game that a lot of people would expect him to do really well at, with all of these receivers on both sides doing really well. I mean, each side literally has 3 receivers that are doing well, and 3 potentially really good receivers for Thursday's game. Higbee, definitely keep in mind. These players are cheaper, these sleepers are, so you can get them in the lineups, and they're most likely to get some points. Swan is the next one. He really, to me, is not a sleeper at all. I think that he's actually going to do pretty well. Against Tennessee, he caught 5 for 5 for 95 yards and a touchdown. Had 18 or DraftKings over 20 points. That's crazy. Okay, and Metcalf and Lockett are switching around, kind of like they did last year. When you go look at Lockett, came out just really destroying everything. And let's check his stats out. The first game, over 24 fantasy points, 28 or more. Those 2 weeks he was just dominating. And then what did you get the next 2 weeks? Practically nothing. 4 targets, 4 catches, 5 targets, 4 catches. I mean, and what happens when Lockett's not doing anything? What does it mean? It means Metcalf is. So let's check Metcalf. Look at the 2 games where he wasn't doing anything at all. It was all Metcalf. 9 targets, 6 catches, 107 yards, touchdown. Next week, 8 targets, 4 catches, 65 yards, touchdown. So it switches back and forth the first 4 games. With that, Swan comes in and he starts to gobble up some of those touchdowns and some of those points too. So Swan he's a little bit more than a sleeper for me this week. Swan is pretty cheap, so he should be in some of your lineups. Now, Seattle, Disley hasn't really done anything this year. Seattle is not big on their tight ends. That's pretty much how it is. First game, he's missed a game, and he hasn't scored more than 6-7 points as far as DraftKings, and he hasn't even passed 6 points on FanDuel. That's why he's a sleeper. He could literally come in and at most catch a couple of passes and a touchdown. For how cheap he is, he might make it into one of your lineups because of that. And there's an extra bonus to that. The other tight end, Everett, is out with illness. They say he might be able to play for Thursday's game, but there's nothing solidly definite on that. If he's not in, then Disley's most likely going to get his stuff. And as you can see here, Everett's really got all the passes when it comes to the tight end. He scored a touchdown. He had a game from a couple weeks ago, 5 catches and 5 targets, 54 yards. If Disley's playing and Everett's not in, then he's probably going to grab this up. So, and Everett is in, he's the one that's most likely going to get the catches. So Everett would be a sleeper as well. Now let's check Henderson out. Now Henderson is not a sleeper. He should be somebody that's on your list, but at the same time, he's still got some issues with his ribs. And what that means for Sony Michel is that Michel's come in, he's kind of taken some of the workload, and if the starter's not playing at 100%, what does that mean? It means Sony Michel is going to come in. He did not do well. He fumbled. He had 3 touches, but the week before against Tampa Bay, he touched the ball, 23 times, 67 yards. He didn't score any touchdowns. He got 9.4. But if you need someone that's really cheap that has a potential to get some points, Sony Michel is the one that you're going to look for. So that'll wrap up my sleepers. You guys keep these guys in mind when you're making your lineups. It'll help you figure out how to fill those gaps when you're trying to make really good lineups. These guys are the most likely going to be your best option for sleepers. All right, Jara, Elite Champion, signing off.